Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. I am Nick Eatman, and man, it feels good to talk about a win. It's been a long time, like early October, since the Cowboys got a victory. But that changed last week. They went to Washington, knocked off the Commanders 34-26. Probably the craziest game I've ever seen. There's been some wild ones, but from a back and forth standpoint of highs and lows and just wild plays that happen all in the span of 5 minutes. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine those people that were like, I saw the Cowboy, I saw Schoonmaker with that touchdown, so I turned it off. I had to go do some things. I'm sure they won, right? And you're like, oh my God, you missed 4 other touchdowns. Crazy game. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Giants coming up here, on Thanksgiving here, Thursday. It's a quick turnaround. Obviously, that's probably a good thing for the Cowboys, even though they have so many injuries, though, to be able to go right back into this. Now, the Giants are reeling as well. Dangerous team, though, as far as I'm concerned. I think this is going to be a dangerous game for the Cowboys. This could be one of their tougher ones. Just because of what I say all the time. Look at what Cleveland does to the Steelers and Ravens. Look what the Cowboys did to Washington. These division games like that, they know each other. It's the second time that they faced them. The Giants look like a train wreck, but those are the ones that are the kind of wounded animals that scare you. All right, 888-855-2297. Let's talk about it. Let's go right to it. We got Carolina. Are you back in Carolina? Is that where you? What's
yes,
up?
sir. Back in South Carolina, good old Columbia.
All right, Columbia, South Carolina. Carolina, you were all over the map last week, driving that truck, honking that horn, but now you're back.
Yes, sir. I'm back. The bad part is I've been back since like Saturday, but I'm leaving out again today, probably later on tonight.
That's the life right there. But you always talk about your buddies or your friends that talk a lot of noise. Were you doing the talking this week?
You know what, man? I actually came home to do work. I was working on my car. Me and my uncle, we worked on the car, and we yelled and screamed together. He's actually a Carolina Panthers fan, so we were watching Red Zone. I'm over here hoping he win. He hoping I win. I'm like, we both having a hard season. We just need to come out with a win today.
Yeah.
And then, the Chiefs sealed it up with 2-3 seconds left. Hurt his spirit, but I was happy, so I was like, hey, that ain't my problem.
Yeah, no, not yet. Yeah, not yet. A couple of weeks it might be when the Cowboys go up there. I don't think.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I said, oh man, they gonna try to put up a fight. I know they're gonna try.
What'd you see? What'd you like in the game, or what's on your mind?
Okay, man. First, man, we both agreed that the 3 people that need to have a breakout game, they all came through and showed up for us. So I'm really excited about that. I just hope that they can continue with that and that can transfer over until this Thursday. Now, I don't believe what you believe. I think that the Cowboys are going to go on a roll. I'm not saying win them all, but I think rolling into the Giants, it's not going to be as close as you think, Nick. I think they're going to go in there and try to show that, hey, look, we're back on track, we're dominant, and we need to go in there and show what the Cowboys is really about.
I would love
I'm about tired of losing.
Yeah.
So, that's all I really have to say. Go Cowboys, man. Hey, how about them Cowboys?
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate the call. Carolina and other parts as well. Back home, though, appreciate what you do, getting on the road and hauling things around for us. I hope I'm wrong too. I mean, about the Giants game, I just feel like, and I've seen this before with Thanksgiving. You're not given a chance. It's a short week. You got to get on the road. They had a bye going into Tampa, but the finger pointing, just calling each other soft or this and that. The rookie receiver Neighbors is talking about the head coach or not talking about the head coach, but basically just saying, I don't know, go ask him. I don't know why I'm not getting the ball. I mean, it's not a good situation that, they got Tommy DeVito playing, but those are the games that, you think, oh, the Cowboys, they turned the corner. They figured it out. We'll see. There's a reason why There's a 4-point spread on this game too. I mean, it's it could be tighter than you think. That's what I think, and I feel like it might be, but hope I'm wrong. Hope this is a game that the Cowboys can get more players back from injury. Maybe Brandon Cooks this week, maybe Tyler Smith. Not sure about Zach Martin or Jake Ferguson. Those two probably not. Going to be some long shots for those two. Trayvon Diggs, maybe. So I mean, you get Cooks back. Get Trayvon Diggs back at corner. Tyler Smith, probably for Bass. I think Hoffman will still play at right guard. Played pretty well in that game, too. All right, let's go to Aime in Napa, California. Aime, what's up?
Hey, good morning, Nick.
How are you?
Feeling good, man. I'm still feeling good from Sunday's victory and wanted to just call in and share some of that. I feel great, man. There's so many levels and things I can always talk about with the Cowboys. I feel like I could just go on and on with you just because I feel like we're right around that same age and we've just lived through so much of the Cowboys just, living as fans. And then obviously, I mean, you've worked, so you know so much more. But, feeling great, man. I think, the points that you pointed out last week as far as what had to happen for the Cowboys to win came true. You said Rush had to play better. You said the offensive line had to play better. And you said that the defense had to play better. I thought all of those things happened. It was great. It was great. And obviously, the Cowboys being the Cowboys, they always make things interesting and close. But it was a great game. Man, it was so fun to watch and just feeling good. I feel happy for you, happy for Jerry, happy for the players. You guys didn't have to deal with the fans and the media. All of the outside questions of just, what are you going to do next?
Yeah.
This person should play. This person should do that. So just really happy for all of you guys.
Well, thank you.
Man, you're a real trooper, man. The way you come in and handle things every week, whether things are good or bad. Like I told you before, just keep everything even keeled. When we're 12-5 and we're going to the Super Bowl, the curse is broke. You're like, hey, man, you guys got to win a playoff game. Just take it easy. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And vice versa. This year, when it was doom and gloom, you were like, I don't want to hear about the draft. Still have a lot of season left. And, man, I just appreciate you. You're awesome, man.
Well,
you're the right guy for the job.
That means a lot. I appreciate that. That means a lot, and it's not easy to kind of to do that. To play both sides of it like that, and you have to. You kind of have to have that approach. But I appreciate you saying that. You don't have to say that, and that was really good for you to do that. What do you got on your mind?
Man, the upcoming week, the Giants, right? It's the Giants, and as bad as the Cowboys have been this year, the Giants are really laughable. Their situation with their coach, getting rid of Jones, saying that they were just going to bench him, and then, him not being happy about it. So then now they're releasing him. Neighbors, his comments after the game is like, even when things weren't going good, I don't think that any of the players were kind of just pointing fingers the way that the Giants are. It's laughable. I expect the Cowboys to win. I hear what you're saying. We're still not that great of a team. We're playing with our backup quarterback, tons of injuries up and down, the offensive line, defensive line, all of that stuff. But, I think, our defense has really played well the last few weeks. And as long as, Cooper can just kind of steady the ship, I think, we can't make those turnovers and those mistakes like you said a couple weeks ago in your article. Just, we're not that good of a team, but we should beat the Giants. I think, in the course of the game, we'll just kind of show that we're a better team on both sides of the ball. And,
You're right. You're right. Thank you for the call, Aime, and I like what you said there at the end of the course of a game. Because we've seen it on the flip side, right? We've seen the Cowboys 2 games before this last one where Philadelphia, Houston, those teams are in a better situation. I don't know how much better they are. I don't know how much better Houston is, but they were playing. It was one of those games where the Cowboys were hanging in there. But then, you keep leaning on someone, you keep leaning on them, they're going to fall. And that's kind of what happened in those two games. And, I thought maybe, and the Cowboys were a lot stronger here, so maybe they could do the flip side. They can kind of do that to the Giants. Back in Week 4 when they played that game, that was a close game. It was like this one where they threw the ball deep into the by the red zone. It was intercepted. That one was Oruwariye. This one Mukwamu. But I didn't feel like that game was that close, but it was. But Cowboys were better. I mean, they were way better. They just didn't put them away. So that's one of those things. It could be that kind of game again. That's kind of what I'm expecting. All right, let's go to Kansas City Joe in Kansas City, Missouri. KC Joe, what's up?
Good morning, Nick. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic with that win and everything. First of all, I want to thank you for keeping me awake at night. I work nights. I drive tractor trailer through the night. And you guys keep me awake, even though you're asleep. I'm up driving.
Yeah.
And so thank you for keeping me awake. And
appreciate it.
I'm excited about maybe Diggs and Bland getting back on the field together to shut down their wide receivers. And I think that'll help our running game out.
Yeah.
As well. But I mean, I think that'll keep it so that Parsons and number 13 get in there, Overshown,
yeah.
To get that tackle, and then Wheat's looking pretty good, so I'm excited about our defense.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, they are getting better. They're getting better, getting healthier. Micah makes a huge difference, of course. He makes other guys around him better. And I think the combination, we haven't seen it yet, but the combination of Micah, Bland, Diggs, Overshown. Overshown hasn't, Overshown, and this is the first game Bland and Overshown have ever played together, So and Diggs hasn't played there with those guys and Micah and all that. So you start to get your top players. Boy, if Tank ever comes back, that might change some things as well. So your defense has a chance to really turn the corner here, and that's what this offense needs. It needs something like that to not be playing down 14-0 to begin these games.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Well,
that's all I had
all
to say. I just have a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll be watching on Thursday.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. That was Kansas City Joe, and I'm going to guess that he's just handing the phone over to my man Brian, who's also in Kansas City. Brian, what's up, man?
Good morning, my friend.
Are y'all just hanging out? You got 2 calls in a row from Kansas City? What's up?
Yeah. You didn't know you were only broadcasting in one city today, huh?
And then y'all going to pass the phone to Mahomes. He's calling in next.
Yeah,
So,
I'm telling you.
I would some kind of tampering probably. Can't do that. What's up, Brian?
Oh, man. Hey, I am so excited that we might actually have Diggs and Bland and Lewis all on the field at the same time.
What about Josh Butler? I'm kidding.
He fought his butt off.
That's exactly,
no pun intended.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what, because he had 12 tackles in the game. That's not a great game for a corner, because that means they're catching it, they're throwing at you, they're picking on you, but you're tackling it and you're fighting, you're battling. He certainly did. I was proud of the way he played. That he was, but he needs to be like your fourth corner, or if that, So you're right. They need to get these other guys back. Maybe Diggs does come back. It's going to be close for Diggs.
I was listening to the show just before me, and I thought you said that it looked like he was coming back. I might have misheard it, so I was just tuning in and trying to pick up what you were talking about. So I'm hoping. I mean, even if it's not this week, probably it's next week. But I'd just be so excited to finally see all 3 of them on the field at the same time.
Yep.
It just seems like it's been forever. That combination is really something, and I think that's a really special combination. And there's always that argument, and you can chime in on this one. There's always that argument about what makes a good defense. Is it the pass rush makes the back end better?
Right.
Is it a dominant? Because I think those 3 guys could be dominant in the back end. And is it those 3 guys give the pass rush that one extra second they need? to get home. And I saw Nealon played last week, so that was good to see him come back.
Well, let me just tell you what the NFL thinks, and you can find it on your own too. Go look at the last 15 drafts and look at the top 10 players.
Right.
How many corners are in there, and how many defensive ends are in there? I would imagine it's not even close. That there's way more defensive ends drafted in the top 10 than corners. Now they're both important, but I'm just saying I think that most teams don't think it's a chicken and egg type thing. They think it's the pass rush. It's the premier pass rusher that they'll take that over a corner. But it is close. Now I could say this: the Cowboys are very fortunate that in 2021 that teams thought that these two corners were more important than taking Micah Parsons. See, nobody thought Micah could rush the passer like that, Cowboys included. Nobody thought that he was a pass rusher to this level. So, anyways, I'm just talking.
No, absolutely. And I was so glad to see that Nealon was back.
Yep.
That was important. Just if nothing else, he's not a dominant pass rusher, but he's another rotational piece. And we just need to get some healthy bodies back on the field, and he'll learn as he goes.
Yeah.
He'll get better every time he gets out there. He'll get better, and hopefully having him out there and getting him paired up with Parsons on the other side. I noticed something this past week that Parsons played a lot on the defensive left. He played a ton of snaps from the defensive left.
He played a lot over the center too. I mean, not a lot. He did play over. He played everywhere. He lined up everywhere. That was impressive. And that was again, I say this all the time. It's a credit to all of them because if he's moving, someone else is moving. So it's a credit for them to switch sides, flip, do those things, and understand their assignments. Washington plays with more tempo than anybody in the league. They have a lot of no huddle. They do it a lot, and it's not even hurry up. It's just no huddle to keep you in the same base. And I thought the Cowboys did a really nice job. There was only one 12-men on the field penalty in the game, and it was Washington and Dan Quinn's phenomenal defense that did that. So pretty impressive there for the Cowboys defense.
No, absolutely. Right. Hey, let me throw out an old-time player, and I'll get going. I was thinking this week, how about wide receiver Bryce Butler? Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, my friend.
All right. Thank you. Love Bryce Butler. Bryce Butler came here in 2015, and one of the things I remember, he was awesome. Very, very, very personal, but he understood too. His dad played in the league. Now, Bobby Butler was a defensive back, played for the Falcons, and it was the one thing that caught the Cowboys' attention when he was first traded to the team. I believe in early 2015. He said, because he was like, they were asking him, all right, he's here and he comes from the Raiders, and it's like, what number are you going to wear? And he was like, well, I wore 12 with the Raiders. He goes, I know I'm not getting that because of Roger. Maybe not 19. He's asking around, but I promise you this: there's not many players that are coming into the league, young guys that are like knowing the whole deal, knowing 12, knowing Roger Staubach and all that. Just the way he said it like that, it was like, all right, at least he gets it. He understands the deal. So he had a few plays here and there. Big tall guy and good target. I saw him at the Super Bowl last year. He's doing some podcasts, of course, which is what he needs to be doing because he's got a great personality. A lot of fun. If we ever had him here, he would be on a podcast. If he lived here, we'd probably have him on a podcast a lot. He's a really personable guy and good, and he's got good opinions and just a fun person to be around. All right, let's go to break. How about that? We'll take our first break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back to answer more calls.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Check out the youth football camps and the dance camps presented by Invisalign. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders will be there for the dance camps on December 27th. Former NFL players such as Danny McCray will be there for the football camps on the December 23rd, 27th. You can register today at dallascowboys.com/camps. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go down to Houston. Bruce in Houston, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I tell you, as quite a few fans, sitting at 3-7.
You were trying to tank, Bruce. You were wanting to tank. You were one of them.
I was. Hey, I'll be the first to eat crow. But it is just one game, obviously. But
of course.
I tell you what impressed me the most is their fight.
Yeah.
Because look, I thought they were going to lose and be 3-8, so that's why I'm like, let's just blow this up and get as most best draft pick and, that type of thing. That's why some fans have gone that way. Now, look, can they probably have to win out to get in the playoffs. Now, can they do that? Yeah, I guess they can. They're going to have to go one heck of a run. And can they do it? Yeah, they can, because if they played like that, they can play with any of them.
Right. The schedule suggests that you could beat all of these teams in front of you. Maybe at Philly will be tough, but, who knows about that. But you could beat any team in front of you here from here on out. And I think they're going to be favored in just about all of these games.
Except for the Philly game.
Yeah.
And you're right. Wouldn't it be cool to go into Week 18 against Washington coming home and mean something?
Yeah.
Because this year it's been kind of like that year. I mean, San Francisco playing as bad as they are and other teams other than – right now you put Detroit in there and winning the whole thing unless, KC does what KC does. But this just been a crazy year with those players. So I was really impressed with the offensive line, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask you. I'm glad. I knew Bass could play, and I knew Hoffman. They got a mean streak in them.
Mm-hmm.
But until you see them play against first-team defense, you just don't quite know. But, man, I'm telling you, it makes me feel better, if Martin does decide to retire and they move on from him, plugging those guys in there. My question, and I even think Richards did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And Guyton, I don't know if he just having a hard time moving to that left side. Still, we didn't hear his name get called too much yesterday, which is a good thing. But
I think it's upstairs with Guyton, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think he's thinking too much. He's just thinking, not reacting. He's not getting on the line of scrimmage. Those are just small things. It reminds me of Jalen Tolbert his first year. Just things like that where you're just having to think on every single play instead of just going out there and playing football like we used to do in the yard. Once you get to that point, I think he's going to be. I think talent and athleticism takes over, and he's got that. He's got that. So yeah.
No, it's like how many times you've heard him say, "Hey, the game slowed down for him." When it slows down for him, that's when they take off.
Because who doesn't slow down for him? T.J. Watt and and those guys and Myles Garrett and
JJ,
every guy that he's had to face this year. He's had some tough challenges, but it's one of those things. But offensive tackle, I remember a game 2010 against Washington. Alex Barron was the offensive tackle. He had 3 holding penalties in the game, one of them at the end to wipe out a touchdown. 3 holding penalties in the game. He graded out very, very well in that game. He played well. But he had 3 holding penalties, and that's what we remember, Yeah. And so, and Guyton kind of had a good game. He actually did. He played pretty well at those other times, but that's what we remember. When you hear 60, when the referee says 60, you're like, God, not again. but he's actually playing pretty well. So,
right.
But he'll get there.
I guess that's kind of my question too. Do you think? I mean, I know he's a right tackle in Oklahoma. Do you think they should move him back, or they know about that more than and possibly now that Bass and Hoffman can do their thing, you could move Tyler Smith out there if you wanted to, and make Guyton the right tackle, and maybe steal the swing tackle. I don't know.
You could, but let me just say this, Bruce, and what I just said about the thinking and all that. I think that's an off season. That's a February, March, April.
Absolutely, not during the season.
Yeah. That's
you're always talking about putting your best 5 out there.
Sure.
Well,
and you might.
But anyway,
you might do that. All right.
I wanted to call and eat some crow a little bit.
That's okay. Hey,
if they should beat the Giants. God, if they lose this week, got them on pull your hair out.
We'll be back into it. Yeah.
We'll be back to square one.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for the call.
Dave. Bye.
All
right.
On Jerry Jones's radio show Tuesday mornings on 105.3 The Fan, he was asked about that, because he was asked about Micah's comments about the tanking. He's like, I hope we ruin anybody's thoughts on doing that. I hope we ruin that plan. We got a lot of football left. And Jerry was asked about it. He said he loved it. And he agreed. He said the games are just too important. The wins they're just too important than that. And he said, those guys that we want to draft will be there. I think that's the mentality that you should have. He just thinks there's too many young guys, too many guys that need to go out here and play and get some confidence and win and build that stuff for next year. Those are things you just can't put a price on. See, the NFL is not just black and white like that. We'll just be like, well, I want to have the 7th pick. I don't want to have the 12th. I mean, I don't want to be at 12, 13. I want to be right there in the top. Yeah, and history suggests that's better for you, of course. But, I think there's also stuff that you can't put a value on is just how important it is to go win some games, get some confidence, get these guys, playing well together, stringing some wins together. That might be just as valuable. It's just hard to figure that out. And I do agree with them, So what if you're picking 11, 12? Go get Micah Parsons. Go get D. Ware. I mean, there's guys you can. I mean, that's just the way I view it all the time. The draft pick is what it is, man. You got to go play. You got to play. And for those that don't say that, they're not in the locker room. They're not. They haven't been in the locker room in a long, long time, and they're not thinking about what these players and coaches have to deal with every single day, and the scrutiny and the pressure to go out there and win. And I mean, we're all competitive. I mean, think about it. Think about how that works. Think about playing in this Thanksgiving. You're going to be with your family. And you might bring out a board game or something like that. You're trying to win. You're trying to get Boardwalk at Park Place, and you're trying to win. You're trying to beat your little cousin, whatever, in Monopoly. That's what people do. So don't you think these guys are doing the same thing? I mean, don't be hypocritical about saying, I don't want them to win and all that. These guys are fighting their ass off, and they showed it against Washington. All right, Brian in Newcastle, Indiana. Brian, what's up?
Nick, how's it going?
Good, man. First time call?
Yes, sir.
Let's bring it. What's up?
Love to hear it. Yeah, well, I am a first-time caller, so I have a piece of trivia for you. I want to see if you can answer, and then I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right, trivia. So I was listening to the break yesterday, and Derek Eagleton brought up the point about the Commanders game, about maybe not being the most exciting game that he's ever seen, that most exciting game actually belongs to the 2007 Monday Night Football game, which actually is my first ever football game, Cowboys versus the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Cowboys ended up winning that game at the very end by kicking a 52-yard field goal twice.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, they had to recover an onside kick. Who was the third-string tight end that recovered that onside kick?
Portland State.
Tony Curtis. How'd you get it?
I just went ahead. Tony Curtis is the answer, but he's from Portland State. You're right. He recovered it. Sam Hurd was the one that actually knocked the ball like about 10 yards forward. That's a part of that onside kick that a lot of people don't remember. Yes, the onside kick was recovered, but it was knocked like 15 yards forward, which was huge because they didn't have a lot of time. They didn't have any timeouts. So that was another aspect of recovering the onside kick, was the fact that it was kind of like punched forward. Just a crazy game. I mean that one.
I gotta say, Nick, it was the best football game ever for me because it was my first ever football game, and it was my dad's first ever football game.
Yeah.
As a longtime Cowboys fan, grew up during the '70s watching all those great teams, and for him to be able to see his first game in such a wild game, it was really cool.
Yeah.
But hey, I have my question for you.
Okay.
So I was listening to 105.3 The Fan this morning. I'm not sure if this has been covered yet, but Jerry said when asked if Mike McCarthy might be considered for a contract extension, he said, "I don't think it's crazy at all. That's not crazy. He's an outstanding coach. This is a Super Bowl winning coach." So, Nick, I mean, elephant in the room, is Mike McCarthy coming back next year, or are we going to see somebody like a Jason Witten, do you think?
Wait, Jason Witten what? As the head coach?
Well, rumor is that Jerry's a big fan of Jason Witten possibly being a head coach in the future when he was asked as a possible replacement down the road. But I'm just curious, do you think it'll go somebody like a Mike McCarthy or maybe look at somebody like a Jason Witten?
It could be somebody different than both of those two, honestly. Now, the thing about coaches is if it's not crazy, to give the guy an extension, I mean, give him an extension then. He's not doing it right now. So, no, it's not crazy. He wants to see more things. He wants to have this thing played out. And I'm sure he'll make the decision at the end of the year. Jerry doesn't want to fire anybody. Did want to fire Jason Garrett, and he did not. His contract ran out, and that's what could happen here with McCarthy. His contract could go out. I think we all know that if he really wanted to lock him up, he would lock him up. And he would have done that earlier before now. So he wants to see more things, and I don't think it's just one game in Washington. But, he has a lot of respect for him, and we'll see how this season goes on. It's been a tough one. He called it a train wreck, Jerry did, as far as the injuries go, from an injury standpoint. And so we'll see if they keep battling and then how they fight through it here. I think he could keep his job if they keep fighting, keep playing to the point where they can get this thing turned around. It very well could happen.
Awesome stuff,
right,
Nick. And by the way, just one quick other thing. I want to give a shout out to Randy. I know I'm a first-time caller, but I'm a long-time listener, both of the StoryLine and going back to all the podcasts of yesteryear. This is definitely like a family if you're a Cowboys fan. So, hearing all the different recurring guests like Randy come on, you do feel like you're part of something greater. So just shout out to the Cowboys StoryLine community. You all are great. I'll hang up and listen, Nick. Thanks so much.
Thank you, and thanks for joining us for the first time on the caller. I know that you've listened, and we appreciate that. We know there's a lot of guys out there that are listening that maybe haven't called in, and maybe some that have tried. We love it when they get through and they share their stories and all that, and maybe next time Brian calls, he can give favorite player, favorite memory, and all that. Obviously, that 07 Buffalo game was good, and I disagree with Derek on that one as far as that game goes, because that one was. There just wasn't so many crazy things happening in the final 5 minutes like that. And there was onside kick, there was the field goal, then the offsides, and then the field goal. But that one was crazy because they were just playing so poorly, and Romo was throwing interceptions and all this. There was a kickoff return, there was an interception, so there were a lot of things. They're just all of those things that happened were throughout the game, and in this one, it was all in the final 5 minutes. So that one, they just pulled the rabbit out of their hat. But this one was just the back and forth. It was everything I always explain on a roller coaster. All right, let's go to Rob in Vegas. Rob, what's up?
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
No, great game. I tried to get in yesterday, but I think it dialed 180 times, and I gave up.
I've never heard you ever talk about dialing in 100 times, whatever. I feel like you just do it like one time.
No, I wish. No,
you're the captain. You sure you don't have a number back there? Like I thought.
I know.
Special number.
It's a bat phone.
We need to work on that. Hey, you're not allowed to talk about Mike McCarthy and Jerry's comment on the contract. You're not allowed. I don't.
Oh, that was definitely coming up.
No.
But that's fine.
I'm kidding. What'd you think of the game? What was your thoughts?
The game was fun. I watched it with my father. It was such a fun game. You know, I thought Washington would win because of, Dan Quinn wanted to get payback. But, I forgot that Michael Parsons wanted to show Dan Quinn, and the Cowboy defense wanted to show Dan Quinn, hey, we're gonna, you always want to play in front of people that your friends. Like I remember when I played against my friends, you want to win, you know. And I thought the tackling was great. I thought Donovan Wilson tackled great. I thought this kid Butler tackled that he played good. Wanye Thomas, everybody that we kind of been asking to get in the game, especially Wanye, made plays. I thought the law firm of Hoffman and Bass played
I like that.
Great. I just thought the key to the game was the offensive line. That was the best performance the whole year. That offensive line actually gave him time. Steele played really good. Guyton struggled, but like you said, he struggles. I mean, he lined up a couple of times, cost us. And they're going to make a decision with him, maybe going to right tackle next year. I thought Richards played good, and I like to see more of him. I just thought it was a fun game. I don't want any tanking like bench players. If you lose, you lose.
Yeah.
But I thought the game was great. I don't think you should have anything to worry on Thursday. The Giants have quit.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
My Paisan is going to get wrecked. I'm sorry, Tommy DeVito. The Cowboys, if the Cowboys would have lost, then I would have said maybe they're going to mail it in. But no, they haven't won a single game at home. They know that. Thanksgiving, I think they're going to blow the Giants off the field. Now, I woke up to all kinds of messages because I'm on vacation the last 2 weeks. What's Rob going to say now that Mike McCarthy may be back? I'm sorry.
Jerry was asked, is it crazy to think extension? He said, no, it's not crazy. That's all he said. He didn't say he was coming back. He just said, no, it's not crazy. So that's all he said. And that's all he probably could say.
But it is crazy. You cannot sell. You didn't sell this guy to us. You didn't feel comfortable signing him when he went 12-5 2 years. How are you going to sell him if he goes 5-12? I'm sorry. When I look at coaches, 5 years is enough time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If you go 5-12, yeah. I mean, he's going to have to fight. I mean, and he is fighting. But this team has to fight for him. And if they get on this run, the schedule suggests that they could. If they do, if they show, and that will show, hey, you got your players back, you played better, then maybe. But yeah, I mean, what you just said, 5-12, then no. I mean, you've got to do a little bit more here, a lot more. So.
And there's too many good candidates out there this year. You know, you got the Belichicks, the Vrabels, the Ben Johnson. There's just too many guys out there that are available that if you don't make the move, I think it's dumb. But hey, let's see what happens. If they go on a run, it'll be a blast. You know, all of us want them to win. I know we say we want the high draft pick, and sure we do. But no, I don't say, you know, if you get blown out 30-0, one thing, game's close. Let's go. Let's go for the win. But you're going to have a good Thanksgiving, not only with the family and friends. The Cowboys are going to dominate the Giants.
All right, Rob. Well, enjoy it with your family as well, and like you said, you saw it with your dad. That's pretty cool. You know, I haven't watched the game with my dad in a long time. It's been 25 years. That's what I did when I was a kid. You know, we watched every game. I haven't done that in a while. I'm glad that I don't get to, because I get to be at the game. But yeah, I don't even know what that's like. So cherish it when you do. Let me go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. Be right back.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Alltech Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alltechlansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Alltech Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Santa at the Star will be presented by Monument Realty. Santa will be spreading that holiday cheer in his themed cottage November 22nd. That's actually last week. So he's been there through December 24th. For more information, to book your visit, head to thestardistrict.com/Santa. All right, let's go out to Sacramento, California, where Greg is. Greg in Sacramento.
Hey, good morning, Nick. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Talking about the game on Sunday, I think it was Dylan, maybe in Florida, that called in yesterday and said, how many times can you just what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it was at the second half of that game. I was like, what in the world? Just with all the special team stuff and all that craziness that happened at the end and everything like that. But it was a really fun game to watch. And, I know people have said it before, but, this is why, you don't quit on the team. You watch all the games because you never know what you're going to see with a little bit of luck, right?
Right.
And I even called in a couple of weeks ago just to kind of try and pump some life in the Cowboys Nation. I don't know if you remember, but this is kind of what I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not over till it's over.
Sure.
And we still, I know it's a very, very, very slim chance, but we still have a chance of playoffs. So, I don't know. I'm not ready to quit on the season just yet.
No.
And then another point I had was, Rico Dowdle, he had 87 yards in that game, and we won the game. Well, when's the last time we won a game where he had similar yardage? It was a Steelers game.
Right.
He had 86 yards.
Right.
So it's maybe we should start getting the ball to Rico. It might be just a coincidence that it was two games where he had 89 yards, or 80-plus yards, and we won the game, and they were both kind of gritty games. That Steelers game was a really gritty game, one at the very end. Sunday's game was a gritty game, one at the very end. So, I don't know. Maybe there's something to that, to giving him the ball as a lead back and just kind of maybe gritting these wins out. So, and then the last thing is this, I had a question. Why is it, do you think, that they're not utilizing Deuce Vaughn, kind of in a screen pass game, or maybe even a jet sweep type thing or something? Why, how come every time they put him in the game, they just run in between the tackles? Are they trying to psych everybody out, and then maybe one of these times they're going to actually give them a screen pass or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could answer that for us.
I appreciate the call, Greg. As for Deuce Vaughn, me personally, I think I've seen him, but you guys don't think so, and I think he is what he is, and I just don't know if it's good enough. But I get your point, though. If you're going to use him in a way that's be beneficial for him. I've said this 1,000 times. If you're going to be on the field, you got to do a little bit of everything. You can't just be a gadget guy all the time. Just like Turpin. He's going to have to. He can't just run deep. You can't. You got to be over the middle. You got to do some reverses. Whatever it is, they got to use him a little bit more too. But I think with Deuce, I get your point, though. He's not – I mean, he's only doing some runs up the middle. We haven't seen a lot yet. I don't know if there's a lot of confidence in him. He seems like one of those guys where the coaching staff, the maybe the front office, the scouting department, it feels like that's one that people have different opinions on. Don't want to use them. Some people want to use them. And he probably falls through the cracks a little bit there, but it's you can't if a guy's going to be out there right there, it's not going to stop anyone from blitzing you. So he's going to have to pick that up too, and that might be part of it. Again, I don't know. I just know that they're not using him a lot, and they see a lot more than we do. It probably is a pass protection thing more than anything. All right, let's go to Rick in Webster, Massachusetts. Rick, what's up?
Hey, Nick and Chris, wish you guys both a happy Thanksgiving and everything.
Just don't get ahead of ourselves here. Yeah.
Yeah, but I extremely thought that the defense played well, keeping them for the whole game, not just the first half. Especially with Butler, Parsons, and Overshown and everybody on that line. And also the offensive line, I thought pretty well, except, they had a few gifts with Guyton and everything. But, again, that opened up those holes for Rico Dodal to do his thing and giving everything off the quarterback the, time to throw. They had Schoonmaker and all them. So that was a pretty good game.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought. Thanks for the call, Rick. They moved the ball around well, and we needed to see those guys perform at a high level. And I thought Schoonmaker had he only had 2 catches, but he had some very impactful plays. Who would have thought he would lead your team? Well, I don't know if he led the team in average per catch because Jalen Brooks had 1 catch. And it was that was a big play too, for him to catch that down the sideline and give him some confidence there right before the half. They hadn't done anything, they'd moved the ball, but they hadn't got any points. And so just for one quick play down the field to get a field goal there right before half, I thought that really was big for the Cowboys there. So yeah, I like what you're saying. And I'm gonna go back to the caller before on Greg. One of his first points was just how you got to keep fighting, got to keep playing through this. You never know. Well. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. Even if you make a run here, you're so far down here, you're probably not. But let me just tell you this: 2020, okay, as crazy as that season was, Cowboys were 3-9, and I would imagine they were looking at a top 5 pick there, and they lost. They lost a really tough game to Baltimore. They lost a bad Thanksgiving loss to Washington. I mean, that one is about as bad as it gets. Then they win 3 out of 4 games down the stretch. They beat the 49ers, the Eagles. They beat Cincinnati on the road and lost a close one to the Giants. So that pushed them to 6-10. Did that hurt their draft pick? Yeah, it did. They ended up with Micah Parsons, so that's kind of to my point, where maybe it didn't hurt that bad. But those guys that played there at the end, I remember Donovan Wilson getting some interceptions and making some plays there. I remember CeeDee Lamb making some plays at the end of his rookie year. That's just to name a few there. I think Dalton Schultz was a young player making some plays, and so that's what I think Jerry's talking about. They hurt their draft pick. They won 3 out of 4, moved it up to 6-10, moved down in the draft. But I bet you they gained a lot more with some of those players that played well, got some confidence, carried on, and they went 12-5 the next year and the next 2 after that. So there's something to be said for this. It's just not easy to equate. Let's go to one more caller, Curtis in Ada, Oklahoma.
Hey, I know you're wrapping up here, so I'll be as quick as I can. I love beating Washington, but I also am very sad about our draft position that the win caused, and we're probably going to beat the Giants this week. Out of this season, there's not a lot of expectation with the injuries and stuff. I just think it's a good season to go ahead and explore your roster, get a high pick. The next thing, I wonder if you could find some middle-of-the-road AFC team and you could get a first-round pick for Kevontae Turpin. And then lastly, I'd heard of Wanye Thomas, but I finally seen the spelling for his first name, and I was pretty taken back that it's literally Wanye, like W-A-N, or J-U-A-N. And so I just thought that was pretty interesting. But anyways, thanks for having me on. You guys have a great day.
All right, thanks. So everything I just said, Curtis, right before that about winning games, how important it is, and then you come right in there and say you're disappointed. We wanted a higher draft pick. I can't say it again. So I disagree, obviously, because I just said it right before you did. So, hey, the draft pick is what it is. You go play, and like we've said all along, you don't have to like try and play younger guys. You have to. You have to play. They had 12 combined Pro Bowls on their inactive list. That's not even counting the guys that are on, IR right now, with Dak and Tank, and I'm sure there's others. But I mean, just the guys that they decided to sit last week of your 7 inactives: Ferguson, Tyler Smith, Trayvon Diggs, and of course Zach Martin. So you don't have to try and tank games or play younger guys. You're having to do that. So you just go out there and play. We'll see what happens. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. This is not our last show of the week. We'll talk about it on Wednesday when we get ready for Cowboys and Giants. Great show. As always, for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you next time on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?